the Summerhill Media Studies podcast. In this episode, we will be exploring the radio industry. We'll start with an overview of the industry. Radio is a media form that has seen many developments in recent years due to digital technologies. Radio streaming services are available on the internet and podcasts are created specifically for an audience to download. In Britain, radio stations fall broadly into three categories. They are BBC Radio, commercial stations, and community stations. The BBC is a public service broadcaster that operates several national stations including Radios 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Live, 6 Music, Asian Network, Radio Scotland, Radio Cymru, and many local radio stations such as Radio Merseyside. Each of these stations has a distinct identity and targets a particular audience. Britain also has many not-for-profit community radio stations. These usually cover a relatively small area. Some community stations serve the interests of a particular social group, for example ethnic or religious. They can be funded from a variety of sources such as grants, advertising, dedicated fundraising and sponsorship. Commercial radio stations are funded by advertising. There are currently over 30 national commercial stations in Britain. The two biggest commercial radio organisations in Britain are Global and Bauer, which reach more than 30 million listeners every week, over half the adult population. Next, let's look at radio technology. Digital DAB radios are now widely used in Britain. They have a better quality of sound and provide access to a much wider range of radio stations. Digital technologies allow media organisations to offer audiences many ways to experience a programme in addition to listening on a radio. For example, streaming a programme live online on a computer, tablet or smartphone. Listening again via catch-up services such as the BBC iPlayer or downloading a podcast. Or consuming content on social media platforms, for example, a radio station's official Facebook page or YouTube channel. Podcasts are now regularly produced by radio broadcasters, offering audiences the opportunity to download a programme to listen when they choose. Many offer additional content to or edited highlights from the original programme. Increasingly, podcasts are also produced independently of a radio broadcaster. These could be drama or comedy series or factual podcasts about politics, for example. Next up, radio audiences. Radio is still very popular. Raja statistics released in October 2017 showed that 89% of adults, people over 15 in the UK, listen to the radio every week, and that on average each listener consumed 21 hours of radio per week. Radio fulfills a range of uses and gratifications for audiences. There are different pleasures associated with different genres of radio, such as speech or music programs, but some of the main appeals are companionship and background sound, relaxation, entertainment and escapism, information and education. Radio is also convenient. It can fit into people's lives and can be listened to in the car, for example, or while doing other things, as it doesn't always require someone's full attention. In our study of the Archers, we're looking in particular at the BBC. So let's explore that some more. The BBC is funded by a licence fee that is paid by the public in Britain. The licence fee pays for a wide range of services including 9 BBC television channels, plus BBC Three, which has been online only since 2016, 10 national radio stations, the BBC World Service, which broadcasts overseas, and over 40 local radio stations. Dedicated television and radio services for Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, and BBC Online, an extensive website. The BBC also receives income from BBC Worldwide, the commercial arm of the organisation which sells BBC programmes and develops the BBC brand in other countries. The BBC was established by a royal charter in 1922 and has a remit to inform, educate and entertain. The BBC, like other broadcasters, is regulated by Ofcom and is required to follow the Broadcasting Code. This code covers areas such as impartiality and accuracy and protecting children and avoiding offensive language. Radio 4 is a mostly speech-based radio station that includes many news, current affairs and factual programmes, as well as a range of drama and comedy series. The BBC website states that Radio 4 should appeal to listeners seeking intelligent programmes in many genres which inform, educate and entertain. According to the BBC Radio 4 44-minute drama press pack, the target audience for a Radio 4 is 35 to 54-year-olds in the ABC One demographic. Individual programmes, however, have specific target audiences, and these might extend beyond the main audience for the station. In order to extend your understanding of Radio 4, why not try listening to a few segments? For example, The Archers, which is on Sunday to Friday at 7 p.m. Thanks for listening.